Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to CalTv. I'm Jim Caselli, and thank you for joining us. On our show today, we will be speaking with Ajita Nimkar about the month-end closed automation process. We'll also be talking with Tom Merez and Jay Profit about the alternate account cleanup effort. We'll have a message from the FSC. Mark Melnico will bring us the latest with Mark's Minutes, and we'll also have an exciting announcement about something new coming your way from CalTv. A few days ago, I sat down with Ajita Nimkar and talked about the month-end closed automation process. Before we get to that, let me tell you a little bit about her. Ajita is the PO and LD lead with the Enhancement and Break Fixes team. She joined Fscal in 2014 and was a P-card lead for 2 years. In 2017, Ajita moved to the AR/BI team and worked as an AM and LD lead for the past 2 years. As part of automations and providing robotic solutions for Fscal, Ajita was a functional lead on the MEC automation process, auto close period, and open period mass update robot, or SCO. Here's my conversation with Ajita. Ajita, I'd like to welcome you to CalTv. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you, Jim, for having me here.
As you know, we're going to talk about the month-end close automation process. So let's start with the obvious question. What is the month-end close automation process and who can run it?
Sure. So the month-end close automation process, that is now known as MEC automation process, is designed to enable the departments to close their submodules AM and GL whenever they are ready. The users who have the department MEC admin role can run this MEC automation process.
Okay, and you spoke about closing submodules. Is there any special order that these submodules need to be closed?
Yes, definitely, Jim. The department has to close all the submodules first for any given period, and then they can close AM and GL for that particular period. So there is a dependency that department cannot close AM and GL before closing the submodules for any particular period.
Okay, so we have some questions that are, I guess you'd say, from more or less a user standpoint. So if a department closed a period by using the MEC automation tool and reopened it again, would they be able to close it again with the month-end closed automation tool?
No. So reopening and reclosing the period is not part of MEC automation tool. These requests are handled outside of MEC automation tool. Department has to reach out to SCO and open a case requesting them to open or close the periods that are previously closed using MEC automation tool.
Okay, so can a department rerun the MEC automation process?
So yes, so there are two scenarios. So answer will be yes and no. The first will be for yes. After running the MEC automation process, if department has any outstanding transactions, they can resolve those and come back and rerun this MEC automation process. However, if the periods are already closed by MEC automation process, they cannot rerun the MEC automation process. There will be next open periods already displayed on the page.
Okay, so again, if a department is running the MEC automation process and they receive a no success message, what should they do then?
Yes, so that is a very important thing. Department has to open a case with Fscal Service Center in order to see if there is any data issue. They can provide a screenshot of their no success instance. Once FSC confirms that there is no data issue, department can delete the no success instance and rerun this MEC automation process.
Okay, so they need to open a case with the FSC in order to get that taken care of.
Exactly.
Okay. So what happens when a department has outstanding transactions? How can they proceed with month-end close at that point?
The department MEC admin will receive an email with outstanding transactions when they run this MEC automation process. And they can start working on these pending transactions. And once they are completed processing all the outstanding transactions, they can come back to this page and rerun the MEC automation process. If they are not able to resolve the outstanding transactions, they can always open a case with Fiscal Service Center, and we will be happy to help.
The good old FSC coming to the rescue again. That's great. What should a department do if a user accidentally cancels the process?
Yes, so first of all, the department should never cancel the process once it is executed. They should wait until it goes to success and posted. However, if the user accidentally cancels the process abruptly, department need to open a case with Fiscal Service Center, and then we will validate if there is any data issue or if there is any data stuck in processing. If that is the case, we might have to provide a SQL fix. And if that is not the case, as I mentioned earlier, they can delete that process instance and rerun this MEC automation process. But I would highly recommend to contact Fiscal Service Center in these instances.
Yeah, it sounds like you would highly recommend them not canceling the process abruptly as well, right?
Correct.
So can a department complete the allocation steps using the month-end closed automation tool?
No, this tool is not designed to complete any allocation steps. SEO has to complete the allocation steps outside of this MEC automation tool. Department and SEO will receive an email saying that allocation steps needed to be completed. However, starting July 2020, period 1, there will be no allocation steps for SEO to complete.
Okay. So I know that we've covered some of the MEC automation tool. I know that users will probably have more questions. I'm assuming that those questions can be directed towards the relations coordinator. Are there any other areas that, or any other people that users might be able to contact if they have questions regarding the MEC automation tool?
Yes, Jim. So always reach out to your readiness coordinator, as Jim mentioned before. And additionally, if there is any issue with any submodules or AM and GL closing, please open a case with the screenshots and the steps you followed to get that no success instance, or like if you cancel the process abruptly with Fiscal Service Center, and we will be there to help you.
That sounds good. We certainly appreciate you being here with us today. I know there's been a lot of questions about this MEC automation tool. Sounds like it's going to be and is something users can definitely take advantage of. So once again, Ajita Nimkar, thank you for being with us today. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Jim, and have a good day.
As Ajita said, and as I say, if you have any questions regarding this process, please do contact your relations coordinator. I'd just like to say too, before we go on, if you have any issues watching the videos, if they're choppy or breaking up, it might help if you turn off your VPN device, if that's possible for you to do. And again, as always, if you want to see this segment with Ajita, it'll be posted on our YouTube page in a couple of days. Now, I'd like to bring in Tom Mraz and Jay Profit. They're here to talk to us with some news about the alternate account cleanup effort. Jay and Tom, take it away. I'd like to welcome Jay Profit and Tom Mraz to the show. I understand you have some information that you'd like to pass along to our users, so let's get to it.
Thanks, Jim, for having us back. In March, we had sent out a communication of the alternate account transition to the new statewide defaults that were being established in Fiscal. And with that, we had put at the end of the communication that we would be contacting you with the plan on the alternate account cleanup effort. Well, that time has now come, and here we are ready to start that cleanup effort. And we do have a timeline of trying to finish by the end of the calendar year, the fiscal calendar year, the state calendar year, which is June 30th.
The fiscal year.
So with that, we want to make sure that we're ready to go. And so we want to make sure that the departments have the necessary tools to complete that analysis of the items that they need to correct. And so since that time, we created the COA Open Transaction Report that was associated with the chart field request page that was also set up back in around April of this year. So now that we have the report for departments to do the analysis, we are ready to start that. We waited till after the year end for hopefully most of the departments to get through the majority of their financial reporting efforts. So that's why we are starting now, but we wanted to make sure that departments had plenty of time to get those corrections made prior to June 30th.
Thank you very much, Tom. And I understand, Jay, you're going to take us through the presentation.
Yes, I am.
Take it away.
Thank you, Jim. So the main tool that we're going to be using for cleaning up transactions associated with the alt account cleanup effort is going to be under main menu, fiscal processes, fiscal reports, GL reports, and it's going to be COA open trans item. These are going to show all the open transactions in the system that still have the old statewide alt account value of the 10 zeros on it. You're going to need to either create a new run control if you don't have one, or find an existing value that you've already done for running this report. For this case, we're going to do add a new one. In there, you're going to put in your business unit. You're going to choose the chart field name, alt account. And then the value, you're going to put in the 10 zeros, which is the old statewide value. You're going to save it. You're going to go ahead and run. And when we run this item, we're going to make sure where the format is in Excel. That way we're able to filter and do a few things with it as you divvy it up and cut it up into different sections within your department. We're going to let this run for a little bit. And once we get a successful run, we're going to open up in Project Manager. Right now, we'll just check the process monitor, make sure it's kicked off and running.
I like to do a little trick, go back out and then go back in, and usually it starts running. There it goes. Told you. Works every time.
Nothing like those tips and tricks, huh, Tom?
Well, it might be, it just makes the user feel better if you see it moving along.
Beats that circle, right?
Yes. Yeah, and it's done.
All right. So now the report is ran successfully. So we're going to pull it up under Report Manager. And when we pull up, like I said, it's going to come in Excel format. For now, we're just going to kind of save it off and open it. And what I'd like to do first is to open up the spreadsheet and then put a filter on line 6, as we've done here on the Excel. And as you can see, there's going to be multiple different modules that have transactions out there. Our main focus for today and for departments to focus getting resolved would be your AR items, your POs, and your requisitions. And the reason for that is those items are in the very beginning of the transaction, and then other transactions are results of those. When you put it in a purchase order, you're going to do a voucher, and the voucher then copies from the purchase order into the voucher, and then when the voucher gets processed, it turns into a journal entry into general ledger. So we want to make sure we take care of the transactions in bulk that are in the very beginning that have downstream impacts. So right now we're going to focus on AR and PO. In the example for PO, you're going to get a list here of POs that are currently still open transactions report. They're still active out there. First thing you're going to need to do is evaluate whether or not these transactions, or these POs in this case, are valid. Are you still using these POs? Do these POs need to be closed? If if the effort is that we are no longer going to be using these POs, then you need to go through the mechanism to close the PO and close all the lines on the PO. And that will make these items drop off of this report. If we've deemed that these POs are still good and valid for the year, and we still need to transact on them, then we need to take corrective action on the PO itself through a change order to then adjust the distribution lines from the alt account default value of 10 zeros to the new appropriate alt account value. And we can go a little more details in USL sessions or anything like that if you're not aware of how that happens. But you would go to the lines and you would move the remaining balance from the line to a new line with the new alt account value. Once that's all cleaned up and the old line is closed, then these items will fall off of this report. So this is the main tool for departments to start the effort in cleaning up items. And like I said, we're going to start with AR, POs, and requisitions first because they have downstream impacts. As we get later into the cleanup efforts, we may start looking into some of the other modules for cleanup efforts like GL and AP and stuff like that. It may be results of templates or other things that departments staff are using that we want to make sure we change the business process to stop utilizing the 10 zeros. But for now, this is our main focus. So again, this is the tool for departments. Everybody with the GL viewer role is able to pull up this report and get the items. And this is where a department would want to start to clean up the efforts.
Great. Thank you very much for that information. Tom, do you have anything else you would like to add?
Yeah, I agree. We just would, the questions I think would be best if you route it through your readiness coordinator. But if, there are additional items that need to be addressed, like Jay was mentioning, where you may need some more detailed questions and maybe even shown through a USL session, yes, we will definitely meet with those departments as needed.
Okay, so departments, if you do have any other questions regarding this, you can always contact your RC and let them know, and they can get you taken care of. And also, I know that the USLs have been very helpful, and the forums are available for those. And if you don't know where those are, again, you can always ask your RC to get that taken care of for you. So Tom and Jay, thanks very much for being here. I would just like to say that the communication for this, if departments haven't seen it already, it should be coming soon. And we will keep you updated about that, and keep an eye out for it if you haven't seen it already. So thanks again, you guys, for being here with us. We always appreciate the information that you can pass along.
Thank you, Jim.
And thanks again to Tom and Jay for that information. Again, that segment will also be uploaded onto YouTube, so you can watch it again if you missed that. Some of you may have noticed that Tom said that to contact your readiness coordinator. And for those of you that don't know, your relations coordinator used to be known as readiness coordinator when your department was onboarding to Fiscal. We've since changed that to relations coordinator. And if you want to forget all that, all you have to do is remember that you have an RC that can help you with practically anything you need. Now we have some news from the FSC, so let's take a look at that.
Sometimes a Fiscal end user will need to set up a secondary user account in addition to the one they normally use to conduct business in the Fiscal system. While there are a variety of reasons as to why you may need a secondary account, the one thing that is required no matter how many accounts an end user has is a valid email address for each of your Fiscal account IDs. If you do need a secondary user account, the email you list for that account has to be a valid working email address set up to receive emails so that you receive important notices related to that account, such as account inactivity notifications. Fiscal sends notifications to users who have not logged in for 90 days, warning them that their account will be locked and disabled after 180 days of inactivity. Not receiving those notifications could cause your account to be disabled and locked. Additionally, Emails for secondary user IDs need to be valid for you to use the Forgot My Password functionality. A valid email address allows you to receive a code to access Fiscal production, even if you have locked yourself out. Whether you have one user account or two, you can initiate the Forgot My Password process by going to the Access Fiscal page on the Fiscal website. Once on the Access Fiscal page, enter your username, and on the next screen, select the Forgot My Password link under the password entry box. Once you do, the system will email an OTP, also known as a one-time password, to the email address associated with the Fiscal account ID. If the email address is not set up to receive emails, you will not be able to reset your password without assistance from an Fsc Analyst. Being able to reset your password on your own allows you to access Fiscal production outside of FSC support hours. We recommend that you contact your internal IT department to ensure that your secondary user account is set up to receive emails to that account. If you have any questions about how Fiscal uses secondary user IDs, please contact the Fiscal Service Center, who will create a ticket and forward your question to the appropriate party. To contact the Fiscal Service Center, please give us a call at 855-347-2250. You may also email us at fiscalservicecenter@fiscal.ca.gov. Our analysts are available Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m.
I'd like to thank the FSC for that bit of information. And now I'd like to welcome Mark Meldico to the show. Last month, we debuted a segment with Mark called Mark's Minutes. We're going to be doing that every month. And Mark's with us today. He's going to share some information that everybody in the Fiscal world could use. Mark, welcome to the show.
Hi, Jim. Thanks. It's good to be here. I assume everyone can see.
Yeah, I understand you have some information for us today.
Yeah, a couple of items that we want to cover, just little tidbits that have been kind of floating around. One of them involves FISBOT. Perhaps the viewers are noticing that FISBOT is missing from this episode, and we know how popular it is. But not to worry, our chat agent will be back soon for another interview. Meanwhile, FISBOT continues going to school to learn more modules. Its technical team is hard at work and expects to release modules in General Ledger and Commitment Control Budget during the next few weeks. So more will be coming on that. Also, our department is busy offering virtual instructor-led training classes with a push this month in procurement and accounting. More courses are being planned as we move into the fall months. Look for emails from Fiscal on future offerings. If you're interested in this training, please follow your department's training approval process before enrolling. And here's a tip: sign up quickly. Wait lists have been forming for these classes, often within a day or two of their being offered. And that's it for now, Jim.
I know what you mean. I've had a couple of conversations with some of my departments that tried to get into a few of those classes, and I know we're making an attempt to take care of those that weren't able to sign up. Now, you mentioned that FISBOT is back in school. Is that homeschooling, or is it going into the actual classroom? Do you know?
I think it may be a charter school situation. I'm not sure.
Well, whatever it is, we know that FISBOT's going to keep gaining that knowledge and sharing it with our Fiscal end users. So, Mark, thanks very much for being here today, and we will see you next month.
My pleasure, Jim.
All right, that's Mark Melnico with Mark's Minutes. I'd like to let you know, those people that are sending in questions today, we are gathering your questions and we will get answers to you. Okay, now for the Fiscal TV announcement. At the end of every Fiscal TV episode, we ask you to take a survey, and we'd like you to do that again today. The feedback helps us deliver more engaging shows with topics end users want covered. One bit of feedback that we receive on a regular basis is that you're asking for more Fiscal TV, and I want you to let you know that we are definitely working on that to make it happen. One of the goals of Fiscal TV is to provide timely and relevant information. In that spirit, we are happy to announce a brand new spin-off of Fiscal TV, and we're calling that Roundtable Talk. This Roundtable Talk segment will provide another avenue for users to learn more about the Fiscal system, hear the latest information from SMEs, learn more about the behind-the-scenes workings of Fiscal and who makes it happen, and much, much more. Maggie Carmona and I sat down recently with David Simbel of the FSC, and here's a bit of our conversation.
You're listening to Fiscal TV's Roundtable Talk with Jim Caselli and Maggie Carmona.
Hello, I'm Jim Caselli, host of Fiscal TV. At the end of every Fiscal TV episode, we ask viewers to take a survey regarding the show they've just seen. This feedback helps us deliver more engaging shows with the topics users want covered. One bit of feedback we receive on a regular basis is that viewers want more Fiscal TV, and I can assure you we are working on that. One of the goals of Fiscal TV is to provide timely and relevant information to Fiscal end users. In that spirit, we are happy to announce a brand new spin-off of Fiscal TV we call Roundtable Talk. This Roundtable Talk segment will provide another avenue for users to learn more about the Fiscal system, hear the latest information from SMEs, and much more. Today's show is going to be hosted by Maggie Carmona and me, Jim Caselli. So let's get to it. Maggie, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Maggie Carmona, and I'm currently a relations coordinator with Fiscal, and I work closely with Jim and the Fiscal TV team, so I'm very excited to be joining this spinoff to kind of bring you guys more insight into Fiscal.
That's great. And today our guest is David Simbel from the Fiscal Service Center, and we're going to talk to him about all things FSC. Maggie? Well, I'm sorry. Welcome, David.
Hi, Jim. Hi, Maggie. Thank you for having me on.
Nice to be with you. So let's start by you telling us a little bit about yourself.
My name is David, as Jim has just said. I am a Fiscal Service Center Level 1 analyst. So I directly work with tickets and I help assign and send them to the proper modules. I have been with the state of California now a little over 2 years, and the whole time has been with Fiscal, and I hope that there will be many more to come.
Wonderful.
That's great.
So, David, what's a day in the life of an FSC analyst like? I mean, are you just jam-packed all day, or, are you living the high life, just hanging out?
So yes, there's actually quite a busy day for most of the FSC analysts. We have 15 people on our team, and what we do is we constantly monitor our email inboxes. We actually have 2 inboxes that we're constantly monitoring. One of them is the FSC inbox that most of our users email. That's the Fiscal Service Center inbox. And then we also have the Fiscal Portal Support inbox, which is where the vendors outside the public email us and we assist them as well. Other than working on the inboxes, we also answer phone calls. We get, on average, over 100 phone calls a day. And we resolve questions when we can, and whether that's email or through phone. When they call us and users reach out to us, we do what we can to answer their questions, and if not, we send it up the chain through a ticket.
That's quite a few calls, 100 calls a day, and I'm sure you sometimes get a lot more than that as well.
Oh yeah.
How's it been with the quarantine, being at home? Have you guys had difficulties, or have you guys kind of just been like no hiccups?
So I would be lying if I said we had no hiccups. There definitely was an adjustment period there. Initially, we were unable to answer phone calls because all of our phones were left in office. And when we were working from home, it was impossible to answer
were initially only responding to voicemails, but now we have actually partnered with Amazon, and we're using their Amazon Connect system through our computers, and we are answering phone calls there. But other than that, everything else went quite smoothly.
Okay, that's a little taste of what we're going to be bringing you with Roundtable Talk. And we hope to have quite a few segments coming on that. I'd like to thank Ajita Nimkar, Tom Mraz, Jay Profit, Mark Melnico, and we also would always like you to take the survey at the end of the show, like we say. And as always, you'll find this episode up on YouTube in a couple of days. I'd like to thank the Fscal TV staff for making this show happen. As you all know, everybody's working remotely, so we do definitely have challenges at times, but we're working our way through those, and we hope you are enjoying our shows. So that's it for today, and we will see you next month on Fscal TV, and thanks again for being here with us today.